So let's move on. Now, if you have your homework slide open, then it means that you can follow on step by step. The first thing we're asked to do, that's number one, was to copy a Python code that was given to us where we had a set of Nigerian footballers, and we're asked to test if a particular object was an element of that set, okay? That already was shown to us in the lecture on Monday, so I'm not going to go through that one. I'm going to quickly jump to the second question. And the second question said, what are you wearing right now? That question was based on slide 11. On slide 11, we were given a set of what Ade was wearing or is wearing, okay? If you look at my screen, most of us got feedback that we should learn to use comments, you know, in our codes so that we really know that you understand what you are trying to do. So if you look at my own code here, I called it my bool list. My bool list because I know that the list I'm going to get and the set I'm going to get is a Boolean. A Boolean returns a false or true answer, okay? A Boolean returns a false or true answer. So I know that what I'm expecting by the time I run this code is, first of all, a list that contains false and true, and then a set that contains false and true. So lines 1 is a comment that I made. And you see here, the first thing I want to do is create a set of what Ade is wearing. So that's just a comment. When the code is running, it skips the comments. But that is just for you to know what you are trying to do. So I say, okay, I want to create a set of what Ade is wearing. Then I create that set. Now the set from 2 to 4 is what Ade is wearing. Now you might be wondering, of course, I can put all this on one line. So I'm going to put it all on one line. Okay, so yeah, I could put it on one line instead of 3, but sometimes it doesn't look so neat and organized, and that's why we break. Sometimes when we see that our line of code is getting very long, it's usually a good practice to actually break it up so that it looks, you know, organized. And when you want to break this set that we have here, you put your break, you press enter after the comma, and you ensure that you use your tab to push the space, because you will see that there is a small thin line here that tells you there are some things that, you know, are still contained in the set Ade. If I don't use the tab, you will see that it breaks that line. It breaks that line, okay? But because the set of objects I have here is still within Ade, then I have to use that tab and see that, you know, I have all this here. So I could actually leave it as this or still break it and put t-shirt on the next line. It's still the same thing. So I've created a set of what Ade is wearing. On line 4, I put another comment. So I'm saying this thing so you can start putting comments on yours. It's not compulsory, it's exactly what I put as my comment. Just make it something that easily makes it clear to you what you are trying to do, okay? So 4, I say create a set of what I am wearing, okay? So I look at myself and I name that set. Me is the identifier, like we were taught in the lecture. Me is an identifier. Remember that this equality sign that we know in math is not an equality sign here, but it's an assignment. So I'm assigning this set of objects to me, okay? And you will see that if I put an arrow and just wait a while, I want to see, it came out, yeah. You will see it's already telling me that me is a set. Me is a set. Can anyone tell me why why it recognizes that me is a set? Anyone? You can type in your answer. Why is me a set? Why is me a set? What did I do? What did I do here to actually ensure that me is a set or Ade is a set? If I put it by Ade, you see Ade set. It already recognizes that it's a set. Is there anyone? You can just guess. It's not compulsory you get it right. You can just guess. Let me wait for a response from anyone. Okay, let's see what I have here. Yes, is in curly braces. Thank you. Is in curly braces. If I change this curly brace to a square bracket, let's see what happens. Let's see what it sees it as. Okay, I've changed it to a curly brace. Can you see? Are they list? Are they list? So these are some of the things that you should be doing with your code to learn. To learn. Remember that we already know English language. Okay? We learn how to write in a short form using mathematical symbols, which is a language. And we said in this course, we are now learning a third language, which is Python. Python is a language, is a programming language. And there's a specific way that you write in Python that it recognizes that this is what you are trying to do. So because I changed this to square brackets, this is no longer a set. It is a list. It is a list. So let me change it back to the braces. So I think it's clear to everyone why. Okay. So now I create a set of what I'm wearing. Now, what do I want to do next? If you look at the question 2, it says, create a logic such that your script takes each of the items in your set and checks if it is also in Ade's set. If so, it appends true to a list. If not, it appends false. So this instruction on the homework, I now need to turn it to a Python language. The instruction was given in English. But Python, if I type exactly what is written here inside this Visual Studio Code software, it won't be able to interpret it because it doesn't understand. Create logic such that your script takes each of the items in your set and checks if it is also in that set. It doesn't understand that. So what did I do? I put a comment here. I put a comment so that I know that I'm dealing with bullet point 2 of that slide of the assignment. Check if the elements in my set are in Ade's set. Check if the elements in my set are in Ade's set. That's what I want to do now. From lines 8 to line 14. That's what I want to do. Then the first step that I'm going to do is to create an empty list. The first thing I'm going to do is to create an empty, and of course this is a list because you can see that is square brackets, but there's nothing inside. Since there's nothing inside, this is a list. So after creating that, I now put another comment. If item in my set is in Ade's, append true to the empty list. Otherwise, append false. So that's the next thing that I want to do. So I turn that into a Python, I type it in such a way that Python recognizes that the comments I made in 10 and 11 is what I want to do. It doesn't understand what I wrote in 10 and 11. That is English language. So if item in my set is in Ade's, append true to the empty list. Otherwise, append false. So how do I write the pattern? For item in me, my bool list dot append item in Ade. So I want to append into the bool list the items that I can find in Ade. If it is in Ade, then it will append true. If it is not in Ade, it will append false. Okay, so right away, before I go on, let's see this clearer picture by taking this through the debugger. So I start debugging. It's asked me what type of file is a Python file. Then I see these buttons come up. Okay, so once that happens, I see that yes, my debug is ready. Okay, I want to step into line by line. Once it's ready for you to start debugging, if you look at the left-hand side of your screen, you should see, some things here. Don't worry about what is in this watch list. Maybe I should just take these things off for now. We are going to learn how to do some things later. Okay, so let me take this off for now. So what do we do with the debugger? We want to see what is going on one line to the next. For example, line 2, what happens from lines 2 to 3? How is this interpreted? So I step in. It goes to line 3 because you can see that the set that I'm assigning to Ade is on 2 lines. Once it covers to line 3, it goes back to line 2, and what it's trying to do is to assign that set to Ade. And once I click again, you will see that on your left-hand side, you will see that every element in that set has been assigned. So it tells you Ade contains wristwatch and all that. Sometimes you might not be able to see the whole thing. What you can do is that you can drop the arrow. Once you drop the arrow, you can actually see that, okay, it has actually taken in everything, there. So you can see wristwatch, t-shirt, headphones, slippers, boxers, shorts, everything assigned to Ade. Aside from that, it even tells me the number of elements in Ade. You can see length, 7. So it's telling me that if you count what is inside Ade, there are 7 elements. That is one of the beauty of debugging. It gives you information about what is going on in the code. Okay, so I'm going to put back the arrow up so that I don't have a lot of things there. So now it goes to line 5. You can see that it skips line 4 because that's a comment. It's not part of the program. Okay, it goes from line 5 to 6 because the set I'm assigning to me is still in line 6. Then it goes back to line 5 to assign it to me. And you can see that me also, you can see here that it has assigned all the elements in that set, that particular set, to me. You can also drop this down to get more information about all that is there to ensure. You can see that the length of this also is 7. If you count that with your fingers or just by saying it out, you will see it's 7. So already I have my 2 sets. I have Ade, I have me. Next, I want to check if the elements in my set are in Ade's set. So I create an empty bool list. Okay, I call it my bool list. We have been told that it's a good practice for you to pick an identifier that you will easily recognize what it wants to do. I said my bool list is a list that is going to contain booleans, true and false. So I didn't just say my list. I said my bool list because what I'm expecting inside that list is either true or false. So it allows me, in fact, the identifier that you choose personally should give you clarity on what you are doing with your code. You can even call it anything. So far, it is clear to you. And you can see last week we were looking at, identifiers that are legal, that are allowed. You can see I start with an alphabet, small letters. By the time I'm combining, the way I have my break, my bool, I start that with a capital B and L. And this actually helps you not to pick keywords in Python. By the time you do this kind of combinations, you will not make the mistake of picking keywords in Python. We cannot use keywords as identifiers. You cannot use keywords as identifiers. So what happens? You will see it creates an empty. You look at your left hand, the left-hand side of your screen, it creates that empty list. Now, for item in me, what happens? It picks one item in me. Can anyone tell me why it's picked wristwatch? It's like it's picking at random. Why didn't it pick t-shirt? Because t-shirt is first. Why did it go all the way to pick wristwatch? Anyone? Anyone? We are learning together. Anyone? Just type in your answer. You can guess. Nobody is wrong in this class. We are all learning. So you are permitted to guess and guess wrongly. You are permitted to guess right. Just make that attempt. Yes, I'm waiting before we move forward. Why is it picking at random? Why didn't he go and pick t-shirt first? Why did he go all the way to wristwatch? Anyone? I just need a guess, okay? So I'm waiting. Let me see. Okay, is the only one they have in common, okay? We will see whether Deborah is correct. So I'm going to stop this debug and come again to that line. You can see that it's wristwatch it picks first here. Or does anyone want to say any other thing before we do that? So Deborah tells us that it is because it has wristwatch in common. And that was the first thing they have in common. Okay, let's see. Okay, Olutu said is the first common item, okay? Is the only item common in both sets. Thank you very much, everybody. So let's confirm if that is the reason why it picked wristwatch first. So I'm going to start this debug session again. And let's see if it's still wristwatch it picks. Okay, so let me start the debug again. And let's see whether Othniel, Ifeoluwa, and Deborah are correct. So let me just step in until we get there. Okay, so everyone, are you ready? Let's see if it's wristwatch. Wow, it's wristwatch. So it seems as if you are correct. In fact, check your left hand of your screen. Can you see that the arrangement of me here is different from the arrangement of me here? So it's looking as if for item in me, it's working with this arrangement and not this one. Okay, so if you see here wristwatch, in fact, if you look at the Ade set, can you see it says boxers, wristwatch, t-shirt? So it seems as if it scrambles. And that's another thing you should note about sets. When you are looking at sets, it doesn't do the arrangement according to how you listed it. It can scramble it for you. And you will see another reason why. Now, I'm going to stop this debug and change this to a list. I'm going to stop this debug and change it to a list. And let's see what happens. Okay? So we are looking at the difference. We are using this opportunity to see how Python actually recognizes a set and a list, the difference between a set and a list. Okay, so let's do that. Let me stop this debug. Okay, turn this to a list by making it a square bracket. Turn this also to a list. And let's see what happens. And see whether it's going to pick wristwatch first. Okay, so all of you said it picked wristwatch first because that is what is common to both. Okay, this theory that we are checking is not that I've checked before, and that is the beauty of programming. Programming, sometimes it becomes spontaneous. You want to try out new things, and as you try out new things, you learn. So I want to advise you that when you see a code given to you in the slides or given to you for any purpose, after you type in the code exactly as it is, you run it and see that it runs, the way it should. Play around with it. You're playing around with it and taking it through the debugger. You get insights into the way Python interprets, things that you type in. So I've changed it to a list. Now let's take it through the debugger again. First of all, let's see whether this thing is going to be scrambled like it did for the set. Okay, so let's watch and see. Everyone, look at what is on the left hand. Can you see that for the list, it arranges the elements exactly the way it appears? Can you see that? If you can see that, can you please type yes in the chat box? I want to be sure everyone is following the difference between a list and a set. Okay, we are still going to do some things with it. Can you see that for the list, Ade's list appears exactly the same way it is, unlike what we had for the set? When we're looking at our left hand side, it scrambled it. So you can see here Ade, if you look at it, boxers followed by headphones, slippers, shorts, singlet, wristwatch, t-shirt. That was not what happened for the set. For the set, it was scrambled because a set, it's not particular. The arrangement in the set is not, it doesn't take the arrangement seriously. But for a list, it takes it seriously. Okay, I can see. Okay, if Olu said yes, ma'am. Who else can see that it's arranged? I want more people. If you can see it, I just want to be sure that everyone is following. You can see that Ade's list on the lines of code, and when we are taking it through the debugger, is exactly the same thing. Okay, yes, 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 fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so now let's go to me, the list of me, and see what happens also. It's also exactly the same thing. If I turn this thing back to a set, it will scramble it. Because a set doesn't take the order of your arrangement. The only thing a set is interested in is that the elements are contained in it. It is the same number. Arrangement of how it appears, no. But for a list, if you want to be sure that it goes in that order, then you will see that a list will do that for you. Now, let's create the empty list and let's see for item in me, whether it's wristwatch that will come up first for the list. Okay, let's do that. So it creates that empty list. For item in me, what does it pick? T-shirt. What is the first thing in me? T-shirt. So once you are dealing with a list, it goes in order of the arrangement. But for a set, it can pick anything that it wants. Okay, it can pick, and it will pick it in order. Now let's run this through the debugger for item in me and see how it appends. I will change Ade and me back to sets. Then we will see the difference between the two. Okay, so let's go. It picks t-shirt, then it checks, is t-shirt in Ade? If t-shirt is in Ade, it puts in true in the bool list. So you can see how you can learn through the debugger. You see what is going on. It takes the next item, which is skirt. It checks if it's in Ade. It's not, false. It picks the next item, face cap. It checks if it's in Ade. False, is not. Wristwatch, true. Earrings, false. Canvas, false. Glasses, that should be false. Okay, now print my bool list. What does it print? Now when you put in a print, remember that you're already seeing the bool list. You're already seeing it in the debugger. When you are taking your code through a debugger, you already see all the information you need. So you might not even need the print. But if you want it to appear on your console or your terminal, which is below here, maybe for example here, I need to put my arrow down to see the full list. But if you want to be seeing it as it goes, it depends on you, but it's not compulsory. You can, so you can see it prints true, false, false, true, false, false, false. And that goes in according to what is in this list in order. Is t-shirt here? true. Is skirt in Ade? False. Is face cap in Ade? False. Is wristwatch in Ade? True. Is earrings in Ade? False. Is canvas in Ade? False. Is glasses in Ade? False. And it prints that out. So now I'm going to turn it back to a set, and let's see how it does it. You will see that I won't pick it in order. So everyone in this class, by the small example, just based on the homework we're given, you will see that we are beginning to see how a list behaves and how a set behaves. Okay, so let me just run this through. So we already know what happens here. So let's just move through my bool list for item in a day. You see here, before, everybody says that it picked wristwatch because wristwatch is common. No, look at the debugger. You can see that it has scrambled me. It's different from what we saw before. Now, canvas is the first thing that I'm seeing here. Canvas is the first thing. It has scrambled. In fact, it doesn't. All that the set is about is that all the elements that are inside here are inside there. It doesn't matter whether it's glasses that comes first or comes last. Or so you can see now it's not wristwatch, but canvas is not common. So you can see that, you know, when I asked you why did it pick wristwatch first, and you said that it's because what is common, you can see that it's not. It has scrambled the list. In the scrambled list that you, in the scrambled set, sorry, that you have, the first thing that appears is what it will pick. So let's go on. Let's go on. So it picks canvas, it checks, it sees that it's false, then it picks glasses. You can see that it's working with the scrambled list on the debugger. That's what it's working with. And print my bool list. Now let's look down. The first one that we had, because this one goes as is ordered when we made it a list, is true, false, false, true, false, false, false. And that goes in order with what is here. But look at what we had when we turn it to a set, because it has, you know, it has reordered it. A set does not keep order. You can see here, false, false, true, false, true, false, false. That is not according to how you typed it in here, but it actually worked with how it was when it took it through the debugger. Now, you can see that what we have here is a list, Look at your, what we have here. You can even look at your debugger. Bool list. Can you see the square bracket? Now we want to turn that bool list to a set. You use what we call the set constructor. You can see it's in green. It's a construct in Python. It's one of those keywords you cannot use as an identifier, because it's a keyword in Python. It's a built-in, let me not say a built-in function, but it's actually one of those words that is reserved, you know, for Python. So once you use that set constructor and put my bool list in parentheses, it turns it to a set. So let's see. Can you see that the bool set is now in braces? Can you see it's now in braces, not in square brackets? A list comes in square brackets. A set comes in braces. And can you see that what you just have here is false and true? Not false, false, true, false, true, false, false. Why? Because a set does not take repetitions. It just takes one of what is reoccurring. So you can see here that you don't really need to print the bool set, because you can already see it in the debugger. So you see that, you know, printing what you have might not be necessary if you are taking it through the debugger. But if you are not, you can actually just, you know, just put it there. And we have come to the end. So you can see a couple of things that we have learned from just going through this first assignment. Now note that you can decide to run this without taking this through the debugger. What happens if I just say run without debugging? You can see it just gives me false, false, true, false, false, true, false, and false, true. You don't really have any information on what was going on. So why are we making it a practice in this course to go through the debugger? Because taking it through the debugger is a learning process. It's a learning process. It will help you know how to program faster in Python. It will learn you. We are not doing the debugging towards the tail end, because taking it line by line gives you insights. You learn a lot of things than just running through and you just seeing that, oh, okay, it has printed it. Why is this one in square brackets? Why is this one in braces? You might not really be able to answer that question. But as you take it through the debugger, you might have insight to that. So I'll just pause for about 1 or 2 minutes and see if there are questions on this one. Then we move to the next question. And after we do that, I'm going to tell you to, try out some new things on your codes on your own, that just attempt some things, just play around with it and see what happens. Any question? Let me just pause a while. Questions, questions, questions. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. So if you really caught something, if you've learned anything new from what we've done, different from what you did in your homework, just type in new learning or learn something new or something. Let me just have an idea that what we've gone through so far has added value to what you know. Okay, can someone do that for me, just to give me feedback? Have you learned anything new? Okay, learn something new. Thank you, Esther. Any other person? I just need more witnesses to be sure that the time spent has been, yeah. Thank you, Adeduni. Fantastic. Any other person? Can I get 2 more witnesses to show? Yeah, Oluwatomisin and your fair. Thank you, everyone. So that is giving me a big motivation to go to the next question. And the next question, I'm going to tell you to do something based on what we just did. Possibly you didn't do it when you submitted the homework. So now we are going to menu items. So let me open my own menu item. Open file, my food menu. That's what I called it, so that I could easily pick it up. So you can see that my food menu does not have any comment, does not have anything. So you have your codes with you. You can put in comments anywhere you want to put in comments based on what you want to do. Remember, I've taken off what I did. Do something new with what you have. Okay, so we have a list of food given, and this is actually based on a set of menu items in slide 12. So I thought about some things I'd eaten or some things I love to eat, and I put it in my food. Of course, you will see that what you have on your own code will be different from mine. I want you to take into cognizance that what I have assigned to food is a list, and what I have assigned to my food is a list. Okay, but the question said that think of food items on your menu list in the past 2 weeks, create a set. So if I submitted this to for my homework, there's a possibility that I will not get a score, because the homework said set and I put list. So the first thing I'm going to do is to correct this. Okay. Then I'm going to say my bull food, but that's a list. So I might decide to, instead of me putting list, I can just put my cursor there to be sure of what it is. So I can see it's a list. Why? Because this empty list is a square bracket. So I'm okay. I might not need to add list to this identifier. It will be too long. So I wanted to call it something different from what I had initially, so I won't just have the same name. So that's why I called it my bull food. Then if I check food here, I see it's a set. I check food here, I see it's a set. These are some of the things you can do to be sure you are doing the right thing. Just put your cursor on the identifier to be sure that it is what you want it to be. If I put it on item, you can see item is string. You can see here that item is string. Why is it a string? Because the items in this set are strings. So already item recognizes that what I'm going to pick is a string. My food here, it recognizes is a set. Okay, so you can just put your cursor on and you will see the type of identifiers or the type of elements that you have. Now let's run this. So you can put comments. I'm not going to do that. I just want to play around with yours. Another thing I want to show you is that when I say start debugging, already from the first exercise that we are done, I already know what is going to happen from 1 to 4. So instead of me stepping into one by one, I might think, I don't need to run through this thing one by one. I already know what is going to happen here. I know that by the time I step in, it's going to pick all these items, this whole set assigned to food. So I don't want to step into one by one. Once you already have deep knowledge about maybe some of the things you are doing, you might not need to step into it one by one. So I've already included breakpoints. What is the use of these breakpoints? That is another thing I want you to learn today. Once I click on run, okay, it runs until it gets to the next breakpoint. You can see that this one did not go line by line. So the breakpoints, you put the breakpoints to show that if you just want to run through something, instead of stepping into it, but you want to stop at a particular point, then you add breakpoints to the place where you want it to stop. Okay, so that's what I've done. So you can see here, it has already assigned that set to here. I already know what it's going to do in my food, so I'm going to run again. So I run that, so it doesn't go line by line. That goes. Now from my bull, from this place now, I just don't want to run, because once I run it, it's just going to give me what I have, you know, here on the terminal. But I still want to see what is going on. So let's watch and see. You will see that from the first thing that we've done, now you have an idea of what is going to happen. For item in my food, what does it pick? It picks ofada stew. It has scrambled what is here. You can see that ofada stew is not common. So that's not why it picked ofada stew first. The reason why it picked ofada is that it has rearranged it, and what is seeing right now, what is seeing right now is what you are looking at your left-hand side. Is ofada stew that is first. So it checks that one is false. You can see it picks us next. It's not working with the way you arranged your sets on your code, because you know, for a set it can actually rearrange it, it can, you know, scramble your arrangement. So it's now working with what you can see here. Okay, and picks that false, picks turkey false, picks egusi true, picks apples true, picks chips false, picks eba. I don't think eba is there. That should be false. Picks plantain. Is plantain on food list? I don't think so. That should be false. What does it pick again? Picks chicken. That also should be false. What does it pick again? Picks bacon. That should be false. Picks rice. That should be true. And that is it. Print my bull food. So we see it there. Okay, it prints it. But if you look at the question again, if you have your slides open, if you look at the third bullet point, using the same program logic as we have in question 2 above, create a true false list to denote the items on your list that are on or absent from the food set. Now, the fourth bullet point is what I want you to take note of. It says, can you do this in keeping with the order of your set items? Can you create this list, making sure that it is in order? And that was the reason why I turned this set into a list, because I wanted it to pick each item in order to answer the fourth part of the question. So the only way it's going to pick it in order, the way I've typed it, is if this is a list. Okay, so it said, can you do this in keeping with the order of your set items? So what is it saying? So let's turn the food and the food item back to a list and see how it answers that question. I want it to be in order. I don't want it to be scrambled. I want to be sure that once I'm looking at my bull list and I see false as the first thing there, it means that it is chips that is not in food. Okay, I want to be sure. So let me run this. So I'm going to move through the big break points because already I know that you know what is going on here. So now I want to step in now. Now see, you can see the arrangement. It says, can you do this in keeping with the order of your set items? If I leave it as a set, it's going to scramble it. But you can see as a list, I have the same thing on both sides. So it's going to pick chips first. And I'm sure that when it picks chips, it will check. And once it is false on my bull list, it's for chips. It picks turkey. False, it means that it is the next item there. It picks rice. It picks ofada stew. It picks eba. It picks egusi. So I can be sure that it's following my order. It picks chicken. It picks apples. It picks bacon. It picks sausage. It picks plantain. Okay, and you can see that it has gone through. So whatever it prints, I know that is going to be in order of how I typed in my elements. But if it is a set, definitely it will be scrambled. In fact, by the time I say I want to debug again, you will see that the way it scrambles it will be even a different way. And so then if you want to turn this bull list into a set, to use the set construct, and of course you can see it will only give you false true. You can see that it changes. You can see that it changes to braces, and it shows that it is a set. So fantastic. All right, so this is just a kind of repetition of what we did. The only additional thing that we've done right now is to answer the fourth question. Can you do this in keeping with the order of your set items? If you want to keep in order, you might need to turn your set into a list so that it is not scrambled. Okay, let's go to question 4, where we are going to do something different. We are going to do something different for question 4. Now, for question 4, garden, vegetables, and fruits. Think of a garden that you have visited. Okay, so let me bring up mine. And I'm going to tell you what to do with your watch list at this point. My garden, so I can pick that easily. Okay, so you can see that this is based on the codes on slide 13, or the slide 13, the things we could see there. So I named my own slide 13, the things on slide 13, neighbor's garden. So that's why I called Nay garden. So the garden of my neighbor and my garden. Of course, you know the name is different from yours, so you can name it anything you want. You can give it anything like that. Just ensure that you follow the rules of putting together your identifier, so that you don't use reserved words in Python, and you don't run into problems. Of course, you can see that Nay garden is a set. My garden is a set because the elements are enclosed in braces. Okay. Now, for some of us, I did two things here. I wanted to create a logic. Some of us read through the notes ahead and were able to see that when we want to create an intersection, all we just needed to do is to put a dot intersection and the other sets, okay? But I wanted to, the beauty of Python is you can, you can do some things to, learn. Of course, doing that is shorter. But I wanted to use a logic and see if it works, if it's going to give me the same results as just using dot intersection. Of course, if you are programming, you won't want to go the long route. I just did this for the sake of learning, of how the for loop works, the if else statement, just to see how it, just for demonstration and for learning. So we are going to see two ways of creating the intersection between my Nay garden and my garden. Okay, there are two ways I've done it, and we are going to look at the logic of the two and find out that they are the same. Okay, so let's take this through the debugger. You can play around with yours, put in comments, whatever it is that you want to do. Start debugging. Let me put another breakpoint here. And let me put one here. Okay, I don't need to, it's just one line. So let me just take that off. Okay, so let's run through. So Nay garden, it picks in everything. Okay, you can see it's scrambled already. Even though pawpaw is the first thing, but tomatoes is next here. See, it put bananas, then it picked bitter leaf, then plantain. So that is just, we are not surprised. We now know that, that's just the way Mr. Set is in Python. He just likes disarranging things. So we are not surprised. Also, my garden, you can see he picked pawpaw, then he now picked, okay, we've not even done that yet. Let's see. Okay, my garden, he picked watermelon, which was the last thing, then picked plantain, which is the first, and then pawpaw. So that's the nature of Mr. Set in Python. He doesn't like things. He's not an orderly person. He's a very disorganized he's a very disorganized person, but he will just make sure that you have everything you need though, but it's not compulsory that I arrange it the way you want. Mr. Set is somebody that likes being creative and likes playing around with things. So he's not somebody that follows instruction to the order. So if you give him plantain, pawpaw, watermelon, he can throw to you pawpaw, watermelon, plantain, and disarrange everything. Okay, so I created an empty intersection list. I called it interlist so that you can see here, create a set that contains common items in Nay garden and my garden, just for me to understand what is going on in this interlist. So it's the short form that I used for intersection list. So I first of all did an initialization. We would have seen it in the lecture we did on Monday. I have an identifier true false, and the first thing I assigned to true false is true. Okay, so for item in my garden, what is this one doing? For item in my garden, so it's saying for every item in my garden. Remember that Python does not understand English the way we write English. So the interpretation of for item in my garden is pick an item in my garden. If that item is in Nay garden, then true false is going to be true. If true false is true, then append that item to interlist. Let me come again. What am I trying to do? I want to pick every item in my garden, compare it with and check if that item is in Ney Garden. If that item is in Ney Garden, it means that true false is true. And if true false is true, put that item in interlist. Else, that's if not, if that item is not in Ney Garden, it means that true false is going to be equal to false. It's not going to append that. So you can see that I have the if block. I have the for block. You can see everything from 7 to 12 is under this for block. So this if and else is under this for. You can see that this for, has this line that runs through and covers everything within here. So I indented this if because I want it to be under this for block. I want it to be for item in my garden. Everything that is going to happen here is going to be based on this for item in my garden. So if the item is Ney Garden, append it. Else is false. So it won't do anything to it. So how does this work? Let's look at it. For item in garden, first of all, true false is true. For item in garden, it picks watermelon. When it picks watermelon, you can see it didn't go through true false equal to true, interlist, append. No. Already, it sees that that one will fall under else because watermelon is not in if item in Ney Garden. Watermelon is not in Ney Garden. So it went straight to the else and say that is false. So it doesn't do anything. You can see my interlist is still empty. It now goes back. It picks a new item, plantain. It goes straight to the else because that item is not in Ney Garden. So it goes to the else block. Goes back. Picks pawpaw. Now you see, if item in Ney Garden, it has seen that that item is in Ney Garden. True false is true. Inter-append, and it puts in pawpaw inside that list. So in my own list, the only common item is pawpaw. So what I want you to try out right away is there anyone, if you used this kind of for block 7 to 12 in your homework, type yes. If you didn't, type no in the chat box. Yes, I'm waiting. If you used what I did in 7 to 13, type yes. If not, type no. That will enable me know what I'm going to do next. Okay, Ayibo Robert, okay, Oluwaferomi, no, Esther, no, Ifeoluwa, no. So for those of you that type no, I want you to try out this exercise on your own code, run it, and see what happens. So I want you to attach, this is just for you to understand how this works and to be good for you to practice it. You will see that when I get to 14, this 14 here is just to check whether what I've done in 7 to 13, gives me the same answer. Because what I did here is very straightforward, which I think a lot of us did. Interlist 2 is Ney Garden dot intersection. This one just takes the intersection and gives you answer. So let's see how that goes. You can see it still gives me my answer, Popo. Just one line. And so that is a more efficient way. Line 14 is a more efficient way. But line 7 to 13 is just for learning how the for block and if else statement works. So I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to pause for some time right now. I can see most of you do use it. I will just need you to practice it. This is just for you to know how so include this kind of lines of code inside your own code. Just do that. Run it through the debugger. I'll give us some 5 minutes. If it works and everything is fine, just type yes, it works. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes. Type it in. We are already almost on the dot of 7, and we want to go on a quick break right now. So the exercise I just want you to do while we are trying to catch our breath is to type in 7 to 13, run it through, and compare it with the answer you got when you did the homework. And once it works, I just want you to type in the chat box, yes, it works. Okay, so let's do that quickly while I just take a break for about 5 minutes. So I'll be back with you 7:05 to check the chat room and see those of us that that we are done. Here. Okay, Ifeolu, yes, it worked. Fantastic. Oluwaferonmi, it works. Yes, it worked. To me sing. Wow, fantastic. So I'm so glad. So you will see that just typing in nail garden dot intersection my garden, is straightforward. That's actually the most efficient way to do the intersection. But the learning process that we go through by doing it using 7 to 13, 12 is something that stays with us. We now can see how that for block works, and that if and else, how is executed. Okay, so that's just the purpose of that. Esther, yes, it works. That is great. I'm glad that we are all participating in this hands-on. Okay, so next, toilet items. Now, the one for the toilet items, we're asked to create a set that contains all items in your toilet and those in slide 14. With this question, we are going to learn some other things that we can do with the debugger. So I'm not just going to go through the code for toilet items just alone the way it is. We are going to do some other, just like we did with this one. We are going to learn something from that also. So let me open my toilet. So that's that. Of course, you can put your comments. I didn't do that because I'd already shown that, in the first homework to see how you do it. Okay. So for this one, since we already know how to use, of course, definitely there might be another way of doing the union. Okay, doing the union without this straightforward way, just to learn something new. But since we've already demonstrated that for the intersection, you yourself, you can just go and, for example, you can say for item in my toilet. If item in my toilet and this thing are pen, see whether it works. I'm not saying it works, it might not even be correct. Then compare your response with this one. Or if items in my toilet or gen toilet, or just just try something. As we go on learning how to program in Python, you learn different ways of doing things. That's why don't just say I've done this homework and put it aside. There are a lot of things you'll be doing in class, and you can still go back to your code for this homework, apply some of those things you are learning. What I'm saying is that you might not need to write a new code entirely. It might be these ones that you have that you are going to be using to be practicing all the things that you are going to be learning in the lectures. You just key them in, add some extra lines to apply what you have learned in class during lectures, turn it around, and do a lot of things. And that's the fun in programming. Now I want to do something here. I already know what happens when I run through this debugger. This set here, the items here, will be assigned to gen toilet. these items here will be assigned to my toilet, and this will give me the union. Yeah, so, but what do we want to learn now? That expression for set, where they tell you the number of elements in S plus the number of elements in T is equal to the number of elements in the intersection, in the union of S and T, plus the number of elements in the intersection between S and T. We are going to use this code to actually check if that formula is true. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to use a watch list. And that's something that I want us to learn. Of course, Prof showed us on Monday, but now you're going to do hands-on on your code right now, depending on what you have. So start debugging. I want to verify that formula. So the first thing that I need to put here, if I want to know the number of elements in gen toilet, there is a construct called len, which means length. Len counts the number of elements and tells you how many are there. So in my watch list, I'm going to put, I want to know how many elements are in gen toilet. As I'm running this through the debugger, I want to know how many elements are there. So once you click on that plus sign here, it gives you this empty box where you can type in. And once you finish typing in, just say enter. So of course, to give you name error now, because we have not actually taken it through, because it doesn't recognize what it is. We have not started running the program. So for now, it will show you name error. Don't worry about it. So len gen toilet is going to give me, it's going to count how many elements are here. Let me count what is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should give me 6 by the time I'm running this through the debugger. Now, I want to know the length of the number of elements in my toilet. Remember that what I want to do is that I want to just confirm that set expression, that the number of elements in gen toilet plus the number of elements in my toilet is equal to the number of elements in the union of gen toilet and my toilet plus the number of elements in the intersection between gen toilet and my toilet. That's a set equation that for those of us that already done set theory, either in maths and further maths, they just tell us n into S plus n into T is equal to n into S union T plus n into S intersection T. They just give it to you, bam, like that. You cram it, you use it. But now we are dealing with specific items and want to see if that is true. In fact, in Monday lecture, we already saw why that expression is correct. But we now want to use Python, because actually this course is for us to learn how to program in Python. So this we want to use to confirm that. So enter. What else do I need in that equation? I need the length of the union. And already in my program, I already called my union here union set. This identifier called union set is where is actually gen.union my toilet. This is the identifier for this this thing on my right hand side. So this is the union of those two is going to be assigned to union set. So I want to find the length of union set. I hope you are working on your code as I'm doing mine. I don't know what is in yours, so that when we are confirming this equation, you can do it together with yours. What else do I need in that expression? I need intersection. Of course, I don't have intersection here, but I already know that I can do an intersection by saying gen toilet dot intersection my toilet. I can write that straight on the watch list. So just watch me as I do it. I don't need to write that line of code in my, because I'm just doing something extra. I don't put it in my code because it's not part of the assignment, but I just want to, so I do gen toilet dot intersection my toilet. So this parenthesis close the one for my toilet, and this second parenthesis closes the one for the len. Okay, so I want to be sure that that expression, my length of gen toilet plus len my toilet, should be equal to len union set plus len gen toilet dot integration my toilet. So now we are learning how to use the watch list. So let's run this through the debugger to confirm what we have. Okay, I already know what's going to happen from 1 to 4, so allow me to just run that through to the next breakpoint. So it gives me gen toilet. Okay, sorry about that. This breakpoint is supposed to come here. Okay, that's where I wanted to run through. So fortunately, you should still keep my watch list. Yeah. Okay, so run it through to the next breakpoint. Okay, so I have my gen toilet, I have my toilet. So everyone just watch. Look at my watch list. It already tells me that I have 6 objects or sets of elements in my gen toilet. It already tells me that I have 6 elements in my toilet, and it has given me the intersection already, because it already knows what is in gen toilet and what is in my toilet. So it's telling me that there are 3 elements that are common to both, and you can confirm. Here I have toilet bowl, I have what's here again, liquid soap, toilet paper. Those are the only things that are common to both. So of course the intersection is 3. Now let's do the union. Let's do the union now. So I'll just go to the next. You can see the union of that set is 9. And of course, it can print the union. Once it prints the union, it should take in all the elements. There should be 9 things there. Remember that a set does not take repetition. So even though the number of elements in gen toilet is 6 and the number of elements in my toilet is 6, the union is not 12. The reason is because there are 3 things that are common, and a set does not take repetition. And that's why you can see that this plus this is equal to this plus this, which confirms our expression. Okay, so I'm going to, this is so just try it out for your own code, and if you have been able to confirm, use your watch list and confirm that set expression, just type into the chat box confirmed. I want to be sure that we've done this exercise. I want you to make your own watch list based on what you have in yours, and just type in confirmed. Okay, Feromi, great, confirmed. I want to get maybe 4 more people tell me confirmed before we move to the next question. For the next question, you are going to do confirmed. Robert, thank you. Waiting for 3 more people to say confirmed, then we move on. Okay, so I'm leaving my watch list on so that if you still want to, yeah, you're fair, confirmed, fantastic. Now, all we've been, this is just, you are now programming in Python. You are programming in Python. Even though it's looking like it's elementary, but I can tell you that what we are learning is just what you are going to be building on. And before the end of the first module for this course, which is the first month, if we give you a code, you should be able to interpret it. You should be able to type it in, take it through the debugger, and on your own understand what it's doing. And you will see that if you have not been programming in Python before this class, you couldn't have been able to do that. If they give you a Python code, you couldn't have known what is it doing. Do you even know what it means to run through the debugger? Do you know how to you know, typing. So do you know what identifiers are? Do you know what keywords are, and all these things? So the level you have gotten to now, you may be a beginner, but you're already a programmer. And that takes you a step further than where you were when you started this course. And for some of you that are still in high school, I can say that this is something that you will see in the future will transform your lives. I can tell you that will transform your life. That you are doing this even before you get into the tertiary institution is a big leap for you. So let's see how many people more have go to my chat box. I can see, let me count how many people confirmed now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have 5? I have only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm waiting for one more confirmation. One more person telling me confirmed. You've taken this through your watch list, just one, so we can move on. Waiting. Who is going to be that person that breaks this silence for us? Okay, let me go back to my debugger. I took it off, but let me go back in case someone just still wants to see what is going on in that watch list. Just start debugging. Title file. Run through to the next breakpoint. Okay. Do I have anyone? Uh-oh. What's going on? Okay, I think I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4. Uh-oh. What happened? We are about 16. Just one more person. You've created your watch list and you've taken it through the debugger. So, okay, so let me just hold on just 1 or 2 minutes and see whether I can get somebody. If I don't get someone in 2 minutes, then I'll just move on. If you are doing it and it seems as if you are running into some challenges, you could type in the chat box, let me know. Okay, let me know. Fantastic, Ife. Thank you for breaking this silence. Okay, so every other person, please, let's do this. In fact, you're going to do this for the next one now on your own. So the 6th question is for kitchen. It says repeat question 5. So the same thing that we did, creating your watch list, confirming that expression, is what you are going to do. So you are going to do that on your own. So everyone, take your code for your kitchen items. Take your code for your kitchen items. You still want to create a union, create a watch list. Create a watch list to confirm that set expression that says the number of elements in a set added to the number of elements in another set is equal to the number of elements in its union added to the number of elements in the intersection. So for those of you that have confirmed this one, just go ahead, do that for your kitchen items. When you are done, just type question 6 done. Question 6 done. Question 6 is on kitchen items. So go look for that code you submitted when you did your homework and work on it. So I'll give you 5 minutes to do that, and I will see what I have in my chat box when it's about 7:30. So let's work on that. Okay. Oh, okay, Robert, that was quick, fast. It's like you went ahead of us. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's just, you can just take a break, or you can also work with, you can do, because today is hands-on, you can repeat that for living room, and you can even try new things. You can even try new things for that one. Just play around with your codes. That's why we are here. It's an hands-on session. So play around with your codes. Robert, just do that while we wait for the rest. So if we have done for kitchen items, just let me see question 6 done, and I know that you are still here working with us. Okay, so I'll be back 7:30 to check the chat box. If you have any questions at all, what we've done so far, please post in the chat box. Okay, please post in the chat box. So we'll be back 7:30. We'll do one more thing today, and you can now go ahead to play around with what you have. So do we have anyone done with question 7? You created the watch list, did the same thing, just for emphasis. Anyone? I'm waiting. So I'll just wait a while to see responses in the chat room that you are done with question 7. If I can get 5 people, then we'll move on to the final exercise that we have for the day. Okay, thank you, Ifeoluwa. Esther, fantastic. Can I get 3 more people? Then we move to the final exercise, okay? Robert, thank you. 2 more, then we move on. So I'm just waiting for 2 more people to be sure that 2 more people, question 7, then we move on. Okay, Tomisi, I see you. 1 more person. Let's hit that 5. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. Now, the last exercise for today, we are going to do something creative. We are going to work with question 8, but it's not exactly question 8. We are going to turn that code. This is just to show you how you can work on your code, change it based on new things that you learn. So question 8 was based on transportation. So let me bring that out. I'll tell you what you are going to do with it. My transport. So this is also an intersection homework, but I want you to do something with it based on the interactive examples that we have that we went through during the lecture, and that is exercise 01. I think that is page 62 of our lecture slides. I'm going to tell you what to do with it. Now, in that exercise 01, the code given was turned around using what Ade is wearing and what Toby is wearing. But now I want you to work do that exercise 01 using my transportation code. By the time we edit this code, we are going to save it as another name so that you don't override this one. What do I want you to do? Now, if you have those slides opened, page 62, if you don't worry about that. I'm going to turn around my own code for you to see exactly what I want you to do. Of course, your transport code and my own transport code are different, so it's not the same thing. Now, we're given the set of what Ade is wearing, the set of what Toby is wearing. Then there was an if-else statement. An if-else statement. If I want to turn my own around, it said if then transport, in the code given on that page 62, it was if Ade.intersection Toby is equal to Toby, then print. It gave us what to print. Elif, if the length of Ade.intersection Toby is equal to 0, print the two have nothing in common. Else, print there are some things unique to both. So instead of me writing that code exactly the way it is, I just want to show you how you can use the codes you already have and turn it around and make it your own. So I'm going to type if gen transport, just using the same logic, dot intersection, okay, giving me intersection here, intersection my transport is here. Now I'm going to use the equality sign in Python, is equal to my transport. After every if statement, you put a colon. Okay. If gen transport dot intersection my transport is equal to, so if the intersection is equal to my transport, remember what we learned about subsets. If gen transport dot intersection my transport is equal to my transport, it means that my transport is a subset of gen transport, because all the elements in my transport is in gen transport. So if this is so, print so I'm going to print my means of transportation is a subset of general transport. Okay. So I put enter. Elif, put your colon. I want to be sure you are working on your own code. Elif, okay, Elif, okay, there's something here. Elif, if length of that intersection, general transport dot intersection, you don't need to type fully, it's supposed to come up for you, so you can just select it. My transport, if that length is equal to 0, put your colon, then print. The two means of transportation have nothing in common. That's what I'm going to type. You can type anything in yours. The two means of transportation have nothing in common. Okay. Else. Print. there are some elements unique to both sets. Unique to both sets. Okay. So I can still leave the intertransport just to confirm, you know, whatever I can see. I can still leave the other lines of code there. And now what I'll do is just file save as, because I don't want to save as my transport. I'll just put 2 there. So I save that. And now take this through the debugger and see what happens through. So I'm hoping that everyone is working on their codes. And at the end of the day, you're going to type question 8 done, but you know that question 8, we have actually turned it around to what, using the logic of what we have in exercise 01. And you can actually do the same for exercise 02. You can, turn it around and just use the same codes that you have to practice those interactive examples. Well, practice those interactive examples and see what happens. This is the last hands-on session, but after we finish, you just give me a moment to just take you through the dictionary, even though that will be done next week, just for you to have a taste of, what the dictionary as a collection does. I'll just run through my own code. We won't talk about it, and we'll just leave that for the next tutorial session. So let's go through this. Start debugging, Python file. Okay, let me just run through this one. I know what this will do. Okay, my transport. Now, if gen transport dot intersection my transport is equal to my transport, let's see where it goes to. Let's see whether it goes to the print, or it goes to elif, or it goes to else. So you can see it just goes to print, because the whole of what I have in my transport is a subset of general transport. So it just, this if statement was already, this if statement was fulfilled. So it didn't need to go to elif or else. So what you could do for yours also, you can edit your, I can put here, I can add bicycle, or let me add something else. I can put marwa, something that is not in, and see how it behaves. I can also put what else do we have? Even though I know the name of it, I'm looking for another name. Let's see. What other thing do we? Okay, let me leave as Mara. I can't think of anything. Okay, so it's not exactly a subset. So let me run this through the debugger again and see where it goes to. The first one I did, because the whole, the elements in my transport was actually fully a subset. So it just went through the if. Let's see where it goes to for this one. Let's see if it goes to the if and print, or elif and print, or else. I've added Marwa to my list. Run this through. So let's see. If gen transport, so where does it go? I expect that it goes to else, because that intersection is not 0. That's my expectation. I already know what the answer should look like. Let me see if my code actually does that correctly. Okay, it goes to elif. Okay, it goes to elif, but it doesn't print anything, because after if, it has to first of all check, because the if statement here was not fulfilled. It was not fully equal to my transport. So it goes to the next one, elif. It checked. So that elif, of course, there are some things in common. So it goes from that elif and goes to else. And you will see that what it prints is there are some elements unique to both sets. So let me take off everything here and leave only Marwa, because I'm sure that there's no Marwa on that, and see what happens. These are ways you can play around with your code and learn through the process. You can see just with that your transport code, you can use the lectures that you are receiving and edit it and turn it around and do all manner of things with it. So let's see what happens. I've now changed only Marwa, and I'm sure that there's no Marwa in general transport. So I expect that it's going to stop at Elif. Okay, so let's run through that one. It goes to if, it goes to Elif. You can see it didn't bother going to else because the Elif statement was fulfilled. The two means of transportation have nothing in common. So my code works the way, and you can see when I said intersection, intertransport is this intersection, print intertransport, you can see is an empty set, is a null set. So the two sets, gen transport and my transport, are disjoint. So you can see that just, you know, playing around with this code, I've been able to learn, see how my transport and gen transport are disjoint sets. Disjoint sets don't have anything in common. Their intersection will always give you a null. And you can see that, you know, all that I've been able to learn just by editing and playing around with my code for transport. So these are some of the things you can do. Go through the exercise 0102. You might not need to type in new codes, just using any of the ones you use for the homework and turn it around. So let me just quickly take us through something interesting that we'll be seeing later on, just a taste of what we are going to do next, then we close. Okay, I'll of course give us time to ask questions. We are not going to discuss it, it's just for us to see it and see what happens. Okay, so let me go to my desktop. Let me see my dictionary. I think I should be able to remember Dict1. Okay, so I'm not discussing this. This is how dictionary works. With the knowledge of what you have done so far, you will see that the comments already gives you an idea of what is going on. The comments already gives you an idea of what is going on. I'm just going to take this through the debugger. And of course, we know what happens. We know what will happen from line 2 to 6. Everybody in this class should know what happens. So we don't need to step into that one. We already know what is going to happen from line 8 to 10. We don't need to step into that one. The interesting part is, of course, everyone in this class knows what is going to happen for author in my list. It means it's going to pick each author in my list. And if author in author sleep, I think you missed me somewhere. Admin.
Yes, ma.
Admin.
Hello, ma.
Where was I cut off? So that I can.
Few seconds, not much.
No, I was cut off at a point.
Just few seconds, like.
Okay, not much. Oh, fantastic. Okay, okay. So, in fact, for everyone in this class, if you go through these comments and with what we've done today, before you started this course, if they give you a code looking like this and you have never written any code in Python, you might not be able to understand what is going on. But one of the tests for you to know that you're already programming in Python is that you can interpret what is in this code. And you must give yourself a thumbs up for that. You might think the steps are small steps, but that you can look through what is going on here and you understand what this is doing. If not everything, but at least part of it, then it shows that you have moved in your knowledge in programming in Python. So let me just run through this debugger. Just be watching the the left-hand side. I'm not going to say anything, but just a taste of what you will. Then we'll go, by the time Prof comes to take the lecture on Monday, we'll be looking at this more intently. So let me just quickly take this through. Okay, I don't want to just through this. Run through this. Oh, apologies. I think I was supposed to set another breakpoint here and set another breakpoint here. So when it's running through, I can control where it stops. Okay, run through from lines 2 to 8. Good. Run through lines 8 to 12. Then run through, go to line 17. Good. So we'll step in here. So it picks Adamu for author in my authors list. If Adamu is in authors library, let's just see what happens. Be watching what is going on. You'll be seeing available, not available, being put beside each name. This is creating a dictionary, different from what we've done before. So it's picking the authors Achebe. Of course, since it's a set, it has scrambled it, so it's not going in order. So if it's available, it gives available. So now we want to print the available list. So look at what is here. Adamu not available, Olabode not available, Rakumi not available, Adichi available. So this is a dictionary of books available in the library. Yopi not available, Shoyinka available, Bronte not available, Yinka not available, Achebe available, Nwako available, Thor not available, Loto not available, Mu not available. This gives you a list of what you have in your library, those that are in the library and those are not in the library. By the time you come on Monday, I'm hoping that we'll be looking more at dictionaries. If not Monday, these are part of the things that we are going to be looking at, how to create a dictionary in Python. So I will stop here and just in the few minutes left, any question, any comment, any feedback, whatever it is that you feel like saying that pertains to what we have done today, or if you have learned a lot today, you can put that, wow, I've really learned a lot. You could just put anything. Just give me a feedback of how today's class has been for you, or just leave me a question if you want me to answer the question. So I'll just wait for 5 people to give me feedback, and once I see it, and we'll call it a night, since it's night already. So how was class today? Or if you have any question, just let me get something from you to show that you were in class with me till this point. Anyone? 5 people? Who will break this silence? I'm waiting. In the next 5 minutes, let me get some feedback from you. Just any comments, any feedback. I went too fast, or I've gained something, or anything. Just tell me something. Let me just know. Anyone? I'm waiting. Anyone? There's a chat box, so I'm not going to hear your voice in the next 5 minutes. Or are we working on our codes? If you are busy typing and doing something, just let me say, just say busy, so I know that you are already into this program. Okay, Tomisi, thank you, learned a lot today. You are there and you don't have time to chat right now because okay, question 8 done. You don't want to chat right now. You are busy, you are typing, you are coding, you are programming. Okay, learned a lot today. And your fellow Lua, thank you. I'm still waiting for 3 more people. Okay, enjoy the class. Question 8 done. Fantastic. 1 more person. If we don't have any questions, then we close the class. Robert, thank you. Thank you, Toby. I actually had fun today. I enjoyed the hands-on when it comes to programming. But everyone, please, let's take the lectures seriously. Remember that it is what you learn from the lectures that you will implement in your hands-on. Programming is not just you just typing anything. Remember that we are trying to kill two birds with one stone. We actually want to show you that math is enjoyable. Math is an abstraction that applies to everyday life, and we are showing you that through programming. So the theoretical foundation that we are using to learn is what gives you the logic. You cannot just come and type anything from space. There's something you have in mind that you want to do. And it is the lecture time on Monday that gives you ideas. So when you are in class on Monday, pick your pen. You might be having ideas of what you can just put down and say, oh, for that, my code on kitchen, I'm going to try out this. I'm going to try out this. Those ideas will be coming in as you sit down in the lecture class. After the lecture class, before you come for the tutorials, you will see that you're already playing around with your code and you are getting better and better. So great having everyone today. See you on Monday by 7 p.m. So good night, everyone. Admin, we are done for today. I think we can close the meeting. Thank you.